hello. I got Maggie. Okay. Good evening, fellow weirdos. Today is day 18 of Phoenix's House of Mirrors. And today, I was thinking about most of my life. I think I've always been a little bit woo. Some people might call that tism. I don't know. I think maybe they are connected somehow. But I was thinking about, or just kind of going over my life, since I was little. And I've always had an inner imaginative world where I lived more in my own little world than I did in the outside world. I mean, and I think, you guys have heard me even say that I'm in my head a lot, but sometimes that doesn't mean that I'm overthinking, which, yeah, a big part of being in my head is overthinking. But also, I'm in my own little world where I'm just in my own little world a lot. So, with that being said, going back through my life and thinking about things, I could see where I have always been kind of different, and woo-woo. I mean, when I was little, even writing a story, I remember writing a story about another world. I remember writing, and I can't remember all the details of the other world that I wrote about, but I remember writing that, and it was similar to this world, but it was just better, I also recorded myself singing a song that I wish I was Mexican. In all fairness, my best friend was Mexican and her mother cooked amazing food, and I was stuck with having to learn how to cook hamburger helper for my dad. So that, yeah. Anyway, so, and also remembering the kind of shows that I love to watch. When I was little, there was a show, and I looked it up finally and found out what it was called. It was called the Noozles. I think it was the Noozles. It was about this little girl that she had two magical koala bears. Okay, they were stuffed animals, like my little Maggie. They're magical stuffed animals. But hers were koalas, and they would come alive, and they would take her on adventures. And I remember, I believe, one of the episodes, her father was stuck in some kind of, like, bubble realm. I don't know, I can't even remember if it was like a prison. I just remember, like, those kind of shows just kind of really, I was fascinated, and grabbed onto stuff that just kind of took you out of the world that we're in, like this reality. And I've always kind of felt like there was something more to all of this than just these bodies. I've always had that feeling, I've always made up stories in my own little world and in far off mystical lands. And that was all, that was when I was little, and then I remember also, like, school, like, oh my god, school was complicated for me, because I would be in my own little world, and I'd go to school, and then I would try to, like, I'd hear the cool kids, right, and the cool kids, and I would listen, and I'd think to myself, what the fuck are they talking about? And I was like, I want to be one of the cool kids, but I don't understand a word they're saying, because it didn't relate, like, I just didn't grasp, it didn't relate to my world and what my imagination would take me. I'm just like, what? So I'd end up, I think, trying to, fit in and talk to people, and all I could ever be was like, you got a cool shirt? I don't know. I didn't talk much, which I still don't a lot. Around people, I have to get out of my own little world sometimes and make myself be social, but sometimes my own little world is a little more fun. And, that's okay. So, yeah, I think my whole life I've just kind of had this imaginative world that I lived in. And, and felt there was something more. I always felt there was something more, and that brought me, I feel like that kind of took me into more of a religious setting. Part of my life was like an inner searching, like I felt like there was something more, and I was searching for it, and and that's the direction I went. And then after things happened, and after Ethan passed, and after I went through kind of my dark night of the soul and questioning everything and just trying to understand more about everything, I guess, I came to the understanding, which in recovery for me, I love that the fact that they tell us to find a God of our own understanding. And that opened up my mind to something way broader than where I had kind of been. I always felt there was something more. I always kind of struggled with some of the beliefs that I did learn, and then I realized that the God of my own understanding is a beautiful concept, and it's helped me to open up my heart to know that there's something more to this, and there's something out there that is bigger than I am, that completely loves me and wants the best for me. And I don't even know where I'm going with all this. I was rambling, and now I'm like, what was my point? But maybe that was my point, just to come on here and kind of say, I've always been a little bit different, and I've always been a weirdo. So I think with all that, I will say that's all I have for tonight. Yeah. Good night, my fellow